Tier 11 World Boss Melvin. Alright boys, welcome back to another Bit Heroes video. Today we're talking about the new loot in the Tier 11 World Boss. Let's get right into it. So let's start off with the team. This is set up for Heroic, so if you're doing a lower difficulty, you don't have to abide by these rules. You have a lot more flexibility. But for Heroic, here's what you want. Heroic and Tier 11 in the Melvin factory. Total team stats, that's TTS, your total team stats. If you add the total stats of everybody up, you want to be at least 26,000. Right? You want to be at least 26,000. As far as your team composition, a bait in the front, bait tank, so that's a tank with low stamina in the front, 2 damage in the middle, and a tank in the back. You could put a healer in for one of these guys, or you can put a damage player that has a DPS pet and then a damage player that has a healing pet, some sort of mix like that. That's fine. Again, this is a guide. You can do what works for you. The reason why you put the tank in the back is because the hardest hitting skill in this, challenge, adventure, what do you want to call it, is attack furthest. Macho Man is a very, very strong attack furthest skill that can one-shot a tank. So you put him in the back. Bait in the front, 2 damage, tank in the back. The Geove, the rock guy, the guy that looks like a rock, he has deflect. So it's very important that your DPS characters, your DPS players, are set up so that they cannot deflect and kill themselves. Deflect cannot be redirected since tier 10, so you want to make sure they can't deflect and kill themselves. So if that is happening, lower your attack power, increase your agility. The damage over time will stay the same. Your damage output is the same, but you won't deflect and kill yourself. That's pretty much it, boys. That's pretty much it. Let's talk about the loot. So tier 11 World Boss. You have Melvins and you have 3 XT. The mythic material that you get when you destroy one of these is the same. So if you need mythic materials just to destroy it for up tiering and stuff like that, you can do Melvin Factory, you can do 3 XT. Doesn't matter. Which one you want to do depends on what your team looks like and which schematics you want and which mythics you want. Anyways, based on the loot. Here we go, boys. So Mythic Offhand, deal increased damage the higher your health percentage is, up to a max of 6%. So if your health is full, you're doing 6% more damage. This is the damage bonus from the Arsenal set, and it's pretty good. So you're getting another source of 6% damage with a conditional component to it. Is this better than, I keep talking about Necrosis and things like that? It's up to you, it's preference. You can totally use it. There's nothing wrong with this skill. I do like that they're rewarding players for keeping their health high. I love it when you see mechanics rewarding players for doing the right thing. So, for example, if you're playing a game and you're very skillful and you're not taking damage, that should be rewarded, and this bonus does that. So if you like 6% damage, you're keeping your health high, there you go, pretty good item. That is your Mythic Offhand. Your Mythic Main Hand. I have not seen the cosmetic for this. My buddy Chase Star sent me the picture. I haven't seen the Mythic Main Hand cosmetic. If you see it in game, snap a picture of it and send it to me, please. I'd love to see how the new gun looks. But Proton Beam Zapper, Ricochet Chance, and Quad Strike. Ricochet bounces attacks, so you can bounce and your skill can go and can fire again. If you're fighting a single target enemy, if there's only one enemy left, you're working on the final boss and there's no one else around, you cannot bounce against a single target. So in that scenario, Ricochet does nothing. You can't bounce on a single target. So that's a little bit unfortunate. This is going to be a fun skill though. Ricochet is very fun. Quad Strike is Quad Strike. Quad Strike means you hit 4 times. 0.5% means that your average chance for this to go off is once every 200 attacks. So not that consistent, but fun when it happens. You guys have heard me talk about Quad Strike before. Let's look at the skills. 0 SP attack weakest enemy hits 2 times. That's amazing. This is going to be really, really good in PvP. In PvP, a lot of times it all comes down to who hits first in the fight, who attacks first. And if your first attack hits 2 times, you can proc your pet twice. So if you have an attack team pet or some sort of offensive pet, if on your first attack you're hitting twice, that might just win the fight right there for you. So that's really, really good. And it attacks weakest enemy. So this is not attack weakest and hit random. These are 2 attacks that should hit the same guy. So I like that a lot. Very good. 1 SP, damage to the furthest enemy, and 4 random enemies. So this is 4 total hits. Also very good. So you can hit for 2, hit for 4, hit for 2, hit for 4, hit for 2, hit for 4. Compare that to Arsenal or Poly, where you're hitting for 1 and hitting for 5, and 1 and 5, and 1 and 5, 2 and 4, 2 and 4, 2 and 4. That's a lot of hits. That's pretty good. I like it. 1 SP, damage strongest enemy, hits 2 times. So strongest enemy is going to have a very high multiplier, does a lot of damage. It hits 2 times. This is kind of cool. If you're fighting against a team that has like a bait tank and you want to avoid him, or if you want to just have a high damage output, this is really good. Very, very good. Megabit Discharge deals damage to the closest enemy and damage to yourself. That's a pretty hard-hitting skill. Look at the damage value there. 2 SP skill, damage self, really big value. Again, it's nice to see more 2 SP skills and higher SP skills that are actually worth using. 2 tiers ago, and all throughout the game, you would basically pretend that all the 2 SP skills did not exist. Other than mount skills, you would just pretend they didn't exist. So it's nice to have a lot more buttons to press. And then it's interesting that they're using the heal icon. This is the heal skill icon. This maybe will be changed in the future, but whatever, no one cares about the skill picture. Damage to a random enemy and 7 additional enemies. This is a 4 SP skill that hits 8 times. Let me give you guys a second just to kind of take that in. I'm totally not stalling because I'm playing Bit Heroes on my phone. And I'm pausing for dramatic effect so that you guys can take a second. Dang it. Oh my god, just died. Hey, we're good. Okay. Yeah. So 4 SP. It's a 4 SP skill that hits 7 plus 1, so it hits 8 times. So you're getting 2 hits per SP, which means it shouldn't really be broken. And while that skill is very exciting, the only time I think you're ever going to be able to use this skill is after you hit an SP shrine. You hit an SP shrine, oh my gosh, I got full SP, you hit this button, amazing. But the problem is, unless you have some sort of special SP regen, I don't think you're ever going to have 4 SP. It would not make sense to spam your 0 SP skill, save up 4 SP, and then use this skill, unless it's like a very specific scenario. I can think of a couple where you could kind of do that. But yeah, this would be cool in invasions, and maybe in Gauntlet, in Trials. Let's say you know the boss is coming, so in the fight right before the boss, you save up a ton of SP. You know the big boss fight's coming, you're going to save a bunch of SP, and then you enter in the boss fight either after hitting a shrine or saving up your SP, and then boom, you just unload this right in somebody's face. That would have some value. So this you might be able to cheese a very high level in Invasion if you're able to make that work. It's not going to be that consistent, and bosses have so much health that might not be the biggest impact that you can think it is. The reason why you can't really fit a lot of cool SP bonuses is because this is a mythic item, and so if you want to do Polynecrosis, Poly Blaster only works with 1 mythic. So you can't pair Poly with this and with another mythic. It won't do anything. However, you could just wear Necrosis, or you could just wear the helmet from the Idol Expedition that gives you 2 SP. You could just wear that and have some weird build what it has it all together. You're probably not going to do that though, because fitting 3 mythics in, not the easiest thing to do. So your other option is what we'll talk about in the next video. There is a set that gives SP regen. Maybe you had 1 or 2 people on your team that gave you more SP regen. Maybe it would be enough. I don't think it will be. But even if this didn't have this cool 4 SP skill, I still think these buttons are awesome. And then one of the complaints on the Poly Blaster is because it has a self-shielding skill, your character uses that skill way too much. So you're constantly casting the 0 SP skill on your DPS character, which means that you're not doing damage because you're casting a support skill instead. So this does not have a support skill, so you're not going to have that problem. And then we go over here looking at the set, the mystery set. Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this. 3-piece bonus. It is offhand, ring, and necklace. That's why they're organized in this position. Offhand, ring, and necklace. 4% dual strike. That's a good bonus. And then the 3-piece bonus, let's take a second for dramatic effect. Ignore defensive bonuses on shielded targets. I'm totally pausing here for dramatic effect, and I'm not trying to manual raids because somebody died and, you know, I'm on the final boss or anything. I'm totally not doing that. I'm pausing for dramatic effect. I want you guys to kind of take it in. What is your initial reaction? Is that game breaking, or is it a non-factor that doesn't matter? Or is it just fine? What do you think? All right, raid complete. And joining another raid. Okay, the grind continues. Anyways, so ignore defensive bonuses on shielded targets. That's going to be controversial. I think a lot of people are going to freak out about this. I'm going to tell you why you don't need to freak out about this. Here's why you don't need to freak out. Because I said so. No, so if you look at all these, look at all the tank weapons. 0 SP shield. Where is it? 0 SP shield on that one. The Polyblaster has a 0 SP shield. A ton of the new familiars, I basically almost all the familiar tanks that have been added in the game over the past tier 10 has access to shielding. Most of them have self-shields, but either a shield team or some sort of shield skill. And then all these tank weapons have shielding on them, So we're seeing so many shields available to us. And this kind of takes a, how do I phrase it? This kind of, I don't know. It might not feel good if you're like, I just got my new familiar and he has a self shield, and then you see this bonus, you go, oh dang it, that's a problem, right? Don't freak out. The only time that you would ever fight against this bonus right here is in GVG, guild versus guild content. That's the only time you're going to see this. Maybe in PvP. But check this out. When you're doing GVG, when you're doing guild versus guild, top tier groups don't wear defensive pets. They wear offensive pets. So you're not going to get shielding from your pets because top tier teams are only going to wear offensive. So that makes it, if I want to wear this, that makes this less valuable for me to wear in GVG if I'm a DPS character. If I'm a tank character, I'm not getting shielding from the pet. The only thing is, if it is a problem, if you think you're running into this a lot, you might want to switch your weapon to a weapon that does not give you shields, and then boom, it's a non-factor. So I wouldn't freak out about it. As a DPS character, it's not high on my list to use it. I might up tier it just for something fun to play with, just to try something out. Try something different, I guess. As a tank character, I'm not going to see this bonus lurking around every corner. And it's a world boss set, which is going to make it not super popular to players that aren't like already kind of top tier. So you're not going to see this often. It's not going to be a big deal. This could be a big deal in the future if all the future content has enemies that get shielding. So if they come out with like a new expedition and everybody has shielding, or if they come out with like some sort of new PvE content and all the enemies have shielding on them and defensive bonuses, you need shielding and defensive bonuses to matter. So if we run into that combo, this could have value in the future. So if you get these set pieces, you might want to hang on to and not destroy them. You never know what the future is going to hold. But I'm not freaking out about this. You should not be freaking out about this. It's not a big deal. It's going to be okay. And if you're worried about in PvP, you can literally click on the enemies in PvP and see if they're wearing this. In GVG, you don't have that luxury. But again, I don't think it's going to be a factor. And then for your guide, bait, damage, tank, straightforward. Easy peasy. Next up, we have extermination. Let's do it, boys. As always, appreciate you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.